Hey YouTube, it's Robert here with another video, and just like the title says, today's video is about my first year as a part-time reseller on eBay. For those of you that have watched my channel before, you know that I am one of those that goes out, hunts for items at Goodwills and other thrift stores, and then puts those items up on eBay for sale. I do it strictly on a part-time basis. That was my intention when I started. That is still my intention today. And so I just wanted to basically give those of you who also were maybe looking for eBay as a side hustle or are just kind of getting started with the intention of growing it into a larger scale business, I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea, kind of what I think are very realistic expectations as far as what you can do and about how much effort is really involved to do it. It's a good opportunity for me to kind of recap how I started and how you can kind of scale yourself quickly as a part-time seller where it's actually worth your time and you are in fact making enough money to justify that. eBay is definitely not a passive income. It's very much a front-loaded type of income though, where you can kind of automate things if you put a lot of that work in up front. I'm not going to go into too much detail as far as all the math and margins of my individual items. I know most of you that gets kind of boring and you're probably just really interested to know how much money and time have I spent and how much money have I had left over, and I'll kind of explain a little bit, but I won't bog you down with too much numbers at this point. So I'm going to get jumping right into it here in just a second, guys. I just wanted to take a minute to remind you to hit that thumbs up button for me, if you will, and subscribe to this video if you found the content valuable, and go check out some of my other videos if you want to learn a little bit more specifically about what I like to sell and how I sell those items. So as I mentioned, guys, I started selling on eBay at about the end of 2018. One of my friends was already selling on eBay, had well over 1,000 listings himself at this point, and kind of encouraged me to give it a shot. I was already flipping items on Craigslist, on OfferUp, and Facebook Marketplace, and it just seemed like a cool way to get a larger market. And he kind of encouraged me to look into clothing because that's what he was already really successful with. So picked his brain a little bit and kind of settled in on what I wanted to focus on between my conversations with him and some YouTube videos that I watched. But I took the jump right away. I immediately put about $1,200 into going out and shopping at Goodwills. And so I had already had some kind of proof of concept from my friend, and I didn't hesitate to go out and just start buying stuff. I didn't have a lot of things laying around the house that I wanted to just try and get rid of and throw up on eBay, so I did have to kind of immediately go out and source. A lot of you that are just getting started though, you could start by looking around at the things that are in your house that you haven't touched in a while, old items of clothing that maybe you would have gone and dropped off at a Goodwill. Take a look on eBay and see what some of the sold listings look like, and that's a really good way for you to build up inventory quickly. But I didn't have that so much, so I went out and I was just buying all of these items, and within the first month I had put up just over 50 listings. Within probably the first 3 weeks I had actually had my first sale, which I thought was spectacular because I had never sold on eBay. I had only ever bought 2 or 3 things on eBay, so I had no feedback as a buyer or a seller. Nothing that kind of established me as a trustworthy seller on eBay. So I was really starting from scratch on that. And getting those listings up really quickly and eBay being able to see that I was active, once I started to get sales and I was continuously improving the number of listings that I had, I think that helped build traction for me really quickly. Within the first 3 months, I had well over 100 listings, and I creeped up to almost 200 listings, somewhere in that 3 to 5 month range, at which point I was now selling over $1,000 a month for those 3 to 6 months that I had been on eBay. So that first 3 months, I started to build up some sales, but it was really in that 3 to 6 that I started to see the benefits of my work take effect. And I was the first thing I did was I reimbursed myself that original $1,200, and I got a PayPal credit card, and then everything that I purchased on that PayPal card so that I could basically track in that PayPal account what was coming in and what was going out. So everything I purchased went through that account, and then all of my eBay sales, the money went into the PayPal. So it was really easy for me, without getting into any kind of fancy accounting, to just see, okay, this one account, I've got everything going out of it and everything coming into it. If that account is growing, I'm doing pretty well. If that account is shrinking, then maybe there's a problem. Or I know that I'm reinvesting all of my profits back into the business. So now that I'm here a year and a few months down the road, how many total sales have I had? What's my total production look like? My eBay totals are 410 sales. There's probably right at about 10 to maybe 14 of those that were either returns or the buyer just never paid. But figure basically I've had about 400 sales over the course of this last year and a couple months. The total sales numbers that I've had was $14,283.52. So that was my total sales on eBay specifically. And that made my average sale come out to $34.84. If you've watched some of my other videos, again, you know that I like to sell ties, which generally are going to be what brings that average down, as well as some t-shirts, things that I can maybe pick up for $1 to $3 and sell for like $20 to $30. That kind of brings that average down. But then there's been a lot of higher end designer brands and shoes that I consistently sell over $50, and in some cases over $100, that kind of help to bring that up. So I think it's good to have a balance. Have some kind of low entry-level line items that you can source really easily to build up your inventory quickly, help kind of start rolling your sales. And then I think it's great to start balancing into higher ticket items so that you don't have to sell so much. You don't have to worry so much about all the storage involved, and you can still be bringing in better money. So after getting 400 sales on eBay, I've had a total positive feedback now of 155. I have no negative feedback, but I have about 38% of my sales, the buyer has left me positive feedback. So you could figure conservatively 1 in 3 of your sales are going to voluntarily give you feedback. The other, if you want to improve off of that, you're probably going to have to message your buyers and try and solicit for that. I haven't really bothered to do that, but if you're really wanting to attack it and you're wanting to build your feedback up, that's one way that you could additionally do it, is reach out to your buyers and ask them to leave you positive feedback. And getting higher feedback establishes you as a top-rated seller, and it, I think, kind of gives the buyers more confidence, and just again helps to kind of build momentum for you, and you will start to see those sales happen more and more frequently. So as I mentioned, I've sold about 400 items, and I currently have 345 additional active listings on eBay, and about another 40 items that I currently still need to list. My total costs, guys, at this point, and I'm combining the cost of the goods sold on what I've already sold. I'm also factoring in the costs of the additional 300 and we'll call it 390 items between my active listings currently that are not sold, as well as items that I still need to sell. My costs of my camera that I'm shooting this with, that I also use for eBay, the microphone, my lights, my backdrops, my shadow boxes, shelving, shipping items, all of these other things that I've continued to buy and invest to make the eBay sales a little bit easier. All of that in totality, I've spent right at about $9,000. I actually think it might be a little closer to $8,500, but I'm gonna round up and just call it an even 9. So I call it $9,000 in total costs. As I mentioned, my total sales on eBay, $14,300 roughly, and then I also have another couple $1,000s of sales on OfferUp. I'm mentioning those because OfferUp, I listed those items additionally to my listings on eBay. So I'm only talking about items that I had listed on eBay that I also decided to list on OfferUp, and it just sold there first. So I'm not talking about items that I would only have been on OfferUp and I feel like it's fair for me to kind of include that for you guys. I'll do another video down the road maybe as to why I like OfferUp in some ways better than eBay, or selling locally, Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. I'll do another video on that because I think that those are really good areas that you should also consider selling. But all said and done, that's brought in about $16,000 total of sales. As I mentioned, about $9,000 in total costs. So over a year and about 2.5 to 3 months, I've got a total of $7,000 in profit that I've made. What's great about this is the majority of the time that I spent doing this, guys, was pretty early on. Once I got up into that 200 and then into the 300 listings, I could kind of take a step back, and even if I didn't do anything for a few weeks, I still had a lot of sales coming in. I'd still have mornings that I woke up and saw that I had $150 that was purchased overnight while I was sleeping. And that is such a cool feeling. It's not passive income, but you did the work up front, you automated things, and now you're just reaping the benefits of those transactions. And once you've paid all your initial upfront costs, as you continue to go out and you source, and it's just coming out of the profits of your other sales, it's really easy to just continue to build that at whatever pace that you want to. And you're only limited in terms of your income by how much time you want to put into it. As I mentioned, for me, I don't really want to put that much more time into it. It's a nice way for me to be able to earn an extra, $5,000 to $10,000 a year with something that's pretty easy to do, is very, very low risk, and at this point I'm like playing with the house money. That gives me the opportunity to put that money towards other investments, or let's say unforeseen costs. I have to replace my water heater in the next couple weeks. I've had car issues, so like those are these things where eBay is such a great opportunity to have that extra money above what you need for your basic survival that's ideally already coming from your job. So if you're trying to get ahead, eBay is really great for that. It's been really great for me, and the overall moral of this story for you guys today is that within my first year, I've seen some very positive returns from it off of a very small initial investment of $1,200, and it didn't take that long. I'm not smarter than anybody else that's watching this. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of specific skills other than just being willing to do your research, go out and grind it, and you learn a lot as you go, and you find that it's really, there's a lot of trial and error. Those errors don't cost you tons of money. You could do this with very little business experience, but it can teach you a lot about business. So I'm going into my next year, and I'm probably looking to scale up where I've got somewhere between 400 and 500 listings this year. I don't really see myself wanting to have more than 500 listings at whatever point, just looking at kind of what my storage situation is like at my house. So I think I'll be pretty tapped out by 500, but now I know that should be able to continue to gain me somewhere in that maybe $8,000 to $10,000 a year, and that's great for me. That's really all I was ever looking to get out of eBay. So if you guys have any other questions regarding getting ramped up on eBay, what you can expect, any problems that you guys have been having or stumbling blocks, please feel free to comment in those down below. If you've finished your first year on eBay and just blew me out of the water in terms of what you were able to produce, go ahead and brag a little bit down below. I would love to hear it. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.